भारत पे आप काम करिए, आपके करोड़ों फॉलोअर हैं, हम उसका सम्मान करते हैं, पैसे भी कमाइए, लेकिन भारत के संविधान को आपको पालन करना होगा, भारत के कानून को आपको पालन करना होगा। ये डबल स्टैंडर्ड नहीं चलेगा।
Hello everyone, you're watching News Epicenter with me, Maria Shakil. We live in the social media era where expression has truly become democratized. Everyone has a voice and every viewpoint now has the power to express. It is the cornerstone of any democracy for free expression to flow. But what the recent farmer protests have shown us is how social media can be weaponized for spreading propaganda and misinformation. This has become the point of contention between the centre and Twitter. The government asked Twitter to suspend over 1,000 accounts, which it claimed were spreading misinformation, but just a little over 500 were permanently deleted. The centre asked Twitter to block accounts that were trying to incite farmers, but Twitter, in fact, made the free speech defense, saying arbitrary action cannot be taken. The social media giant even blocked certain accounts after requests from the centre, but they were only suspended for a couple of hours. Speaking in the Rajya Sabha, Union Law and IT Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad said the centre has made it clear that misuse of social media is punishable under the law, adding that the platform cannot make up its own rules. Twitter, on the other hand, said that it cannot violate the freedom of expression in a sweeping fashion, even if the government orders it. Tech giants have a legal defense called the intermediary defense, where they call themselves mere platforms for expression. Their role is limited to the storing and transmitting of data. Even the IT Act of 2000 protects them from potential liability. But Twitter has been inconsistent when it comes to tackling hate speech and incendiary content. It permanently suspended Donald Trump's account in the wake of the Capitol riots just 10 days before he exited office, but allowed the former president to peddle the big election lie for weeks. Former Malaysia Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad glorified the Nice terror attack on Twitter, but only one tweet from a thread of vitriol was removed. Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran regularly tweets threats against Israel, but his tweets are flagged and his account has never been suspended. On both sides, there are problems with the freedom versus regulation debate. Free speech is central to any democracy, but cracking down on misinformation and hate is a fundamental function. But regulation is always a slippery slope. The rules of hate speech and misinformation are not written in stone. They keep changing. So who identifies it? Can there be tech solutions in our charged social media world? Can there be a middle ground? That's what I'm debating on News Epicenter. Let me bring in my guests. Jitin Jain is cybersecurity expert. Pranesh Prakash is associated with Yale's Information Society Project. NS Napinai is advocate and founder, CyberSathi. Karnika Seth, cyber law founder. Jitin, I'm going to begin with you. Following government orders, Twitter did suspend over 500 accounts for engaging in platform manipulation and spam. But in its statement, it said it cannot take action against news media entities, journalists and politicians. The government knows that this platform operates under the intermediary rules. Then what's the point of threatening them with legal action?
So the point is these platforms claim that they are intermediary, which means they should only store and transmit data. They should not modify, add, subtract, or make any sort of changes in the data, and they should not censor or restrict or modify any content. Now, here what is happening, since this platform of seeking safe harbor provisions for being just a platform and nothing to do with the content, here suddenly there is a situation where there is a lawful order passed by the government authority which is then also, approved by a multi-ministerial body, and Twitter is asked under emergency provisions to block certain accounts. Now, Twitter here is trying to assume the role of a judge, jury, and executioner. They are trying to say that, look, we will interpret Indian constitution. We will decide whether this is a lawful order or not. We will decide whether your definition of public order is acceptable to us or not. We as Twitter is saying that in a way, the government of India's order, the law of this land, the laws enacted by the sovereign parliament of India are subservient to the Twitter's business and rule policies, which cannot be the case. So here, Twitter under this law has to comply with that order in absolute terms. They cannot modify, subtract, or even remove one handle. They cannot defy the law of the land, and which is the bone of contention. And that too, when an order is issued under emergency provisions. That's number one. Number two, this order is issued to maintain public order, to restrict certain content which is inciting or has potential to incite violence. There are things like Prime Minister Modi planning genocide has been trending on Twitter, and these companies which are giving defense of free speech now, they are actually propagating anarchy. Now, this same company in US, suspended this account hashtag which was trending like hang Mike Pence. Now, the second argument given by Twitter is that your orders are disproportionate.
Yes, I will
There is
come
no
to that point in
proportionality.
just a bit. Let me bring in Napi Nai now. Given the nature and the scale of violence that unfolded on the Republic Day, can they continue with the argument that they are giving that, they have to be protecting free speech? What is free speech and expression in these circumstances?
Maria, the difficulty is that two different constructs are being mixed up. The first aspect is free speech and expression, which all of us have and all of us respect and believe in. But the second aspect is rule of law. Rule of law mandates that when there is a specific provision and when government authorities or law enforcement has acted pursuant to that provision, we as citizens, residents, and persons amenable to the law have to abide by it. So when an order is passed for removal of content, then it is not open to a corporate entity to double guess or question that order suo motu. So effectively what the corporation is doing is, it is substituting its satisfaction, subjective satisfaction, to that of a government authority when it contests a notice issued under a provision of law, which is impermissible. You also asked this earlier question about the legality of safe harbors under the IT Act.
Yes.
A safe harbor does not protect an intermediary from this kind of action, because even under the safe harbor rules, there is a provision for takedown. What order has been passed now is for blocking, but under section 79, takedown could also be directed. And even in that instance, liable for the same offense that the perpetrator has committed on their platform. So the safe harbor, the protection given to the intermediary, the shield, gets taken away. And here there is also a criminal provision in 69A itself. So by refusing to comply with the order, they have opened themselves out to the possibility of criminal action. But more importantly, my point is, let's not confuse the issue of the construct of freedom of speech with complying with rule of law. And what we are asking for today is for compliance with rule of law.
Okay, so and that brings me to the question, Pranesh, about this subjective private party evaluation of the content, which is being done by Twitter, on the basis of which they remove it. It's very clear that their understanding is also driven by ideological bent of mind. So in that case, what really defines an incendiary content, according to them? Shouldn't it be subject to the rule of the law, of the land?
It absolutely should be subject to rule of law. My concern is whether the government has followed rule of law. Now, we don't know what these orders contain. We do know that a member of parliament's Twitter account has been suspended today without any notice to him. And so he was not provided an opportunity to say, no, this is legitimate content on my account, as is required under Section 69A rules. So is rule of law being followed by the government. Twitter has said that 2 particular instances were requested under emergency powers, but the rest apparently were not. The government has not contested that. Okay, so all the rest were magazines, news magazines, which were ordered to be whose accounts were ordered to be shut down, where they provided an opportunity to be represented before the committee which took this decision. So my question is whether rule of law is actually being followed by the government. And second, when prima facie, there's an open doubt that it isn't on procedural grounds a legitimate order, okay, then for me it's quite clear that Twitter does have the ability to contest it. So we found this, for instance, in the past, where telecom companies were getting orders for surveillance, and they actually did not check whether they were legitimately, made or not. Okay, and they actually conducted surveillance when, in fact, those were not legitimately made, and this happened with the tapping of Arun Jaitley's phones. Okay, so there is the question of whether procedurally.
I'm not too sure if the surveillance argument can be brought in right now here. It's about the nature and the scale of the violence that we have to look at as far as that incident is concerned. While we are batting for freedom of speech and expression, it's cornerstone of any functioning democracy, but at the same time, rule of law. How can intermediary platforms, under the garb that they are intermediary platforms, and that, because Section 2 of that Act clearly says that they are platforms which is supposed to transmit and store, then can they continue to store any kind of content when the government of the day actually is privy to much more intelligence and information that these contents are fueling a law and order situation? Let me bring in Karnika. Karnika, come in on this. So,
yes.
What really is this dialogue when we look at it? Is it freedom versus regulation debate, or is it more of a publisher, a platform of this nature, or publisher versus platform? Because when a publisher is there, then it is governed by a different set of rules, but a platform like an intermediary platform has exit routes.
Well, I think it's more of a publisher liability here. Question is that should these kind of content be there, on this social platform, knowing that this is fueling riots, or this is fueling an agitation which is likely to cause a ruckus or public safety and I would say public decency or morality is at stake. So something like this needs a serious look, and that is the reason why the government has passed these orders. And considering this is passed in emergency, there is a strong need for curtailing these and taking them down and blocking these accounts. And that's very important just to maintain law and order situation, security of the nation. So considering this, it is not an option, but it's a publisher liability, because ultimately when they have been brought to the actual notice of these people that this has to be taken down, it is their liability, it is their responsibility to act on it. And when it comes to freedom of speech or other things, I mean, it's the activists or the account holders who can probably lay a claim. But then, because it is an objectively viewed, situation, and the government thinks and it has reasons to say that there is a strong need for taking these accounts down, there is definitely a plausible basis, and that's why they have acted on it. So that's open to challenge. I mean, anybody would like to challenge it. That's another thing, another aspect of the whole thing. But at this point of time, what is pertinent and what is imperative is to control the situation. And for that reason, compliance is immediate and required. That's what I feel.
Okay, at the same time, Jitin, the point here is that content was subject to pre-approval by relevant medium. That is what a publisher is. Here, anybody goes on there, and it's again free speech, free world that we are living in. They can go ahead and talk about it. But
then let Twitter say that they want to assume the criminal liability over the content, and they can censor, modify, or monitor content. It will be the end of debate. Then we can.
There seems to be some problem with that line. We'll try and fix that. Yes.
Look, there is a process, and we all understand that any ministry or any state government can duly through a nodal officer right to the designated officer in under emergency provisions or emergency situation to block access to a certain content. Now that designated officer, to his subjective satisfaction, if he is satisfied, in this case he was, and then he seeks the approval of the IT Secretary of India in emergency situation. Once they both are subjectively satisfied, they issue directions to the intermediary. Nowhere under the law, under any country, there is a provision, not only for India, that a private company, and then there are some, chap sitting in US, a foreign guy sitting in a drawing room in US will decide what is the definition of public order in India, what is the interpretation of Supreme Court judgments. I think they have no power, they have no responsibility to do any interpretation or justification of content. They simply have
But
to
Jitin,
comply
then
with it.
again the argument can be
If
that
they are not
social media
satisfied,
platforms
if they are not
have
satisfied,
become
they
an
will
important
not
and
respond.
compelling means of expression of self, of mobilizing, and at times even formulating public opinion.
If they think that it is stifling free speech or censoring political speech, they can move a court. They can go to Supreme Court, High Court, but they cannot be in a situation then they will say that we will not go to court, we will not even comply with the government order. Our policies are superior to government orders or the laws
Okay,
of the land.
Pranesh, a quick
We live in
response
an island
from you
where
and
no
then
laws
I'll
of
look
any
at
country apply
solutions.
upon us.
Can there
Now,
be
that
some
is the situation. It is not
technology-driven
a
solutions?
banana republic, right?
And how do you really control the content then? Because, or can they really continue to function with impunity? Pranesh, come in.
Now here is the thing. They are giving an argument that if
Jitin,
the
I'm going to
account has
come back
tweeted
to you.
three
Let
odd
Pranesh
days
speak,
or
please.
three odd
Yes.
violent stuff,
Pranesh,
why
go
are
ahead.
you asking us to block the account? Why allow us to just withhold the 3 tweets?
Yeah.
They are giving an argument of proportionality. Let me tell you, if this was the same argument, then why the Twitter, withheld 3 tweets of Donald Trump, and later the day they decided,
Yes,
they
Jitin, I'm
realized
going to come
that
back to you.
Democrats
Let
were holding
Pranesh
the
speak.
Senate
Please,
committee,
Pranesh, go ahead.
they decided to suspend the account of the
Clear.
sitting US president.
Yes, go ahead.
Where was the
Ask
proportionality gone?
order
Where is
for
free speech
Twitter
in
to
the case of
block
Donald
something.
Trump?
The people who are being affected by it are not Twitter. The people who are being affected by it are the people whose accounts are being blocked. So magazines like Caravan, members of parliament like Sukram, now they are the ones who are aggrieved. Now, why shouldn't they be told why they're being blocked? Now, if now Caravan magazine, right, their actual newsstand magazine, those have not been banned, those have not been blocked. So if they'd actually done something wrong, why hasn't the government actually banned anything print material? Because it's so much easier for the government to go under 69A and just target online speech. So is there any evidence that a member of parliament has actually incited violence? We keep talking about fake news and we keep talking about hate. What is the evidence? Have we actually seen any evidence? So
Okay,
for me,
so there are a set of evidence we'll be
whether
putting
Twitter
out on our
is right or
television
wrong.
screens in just a bit. That's the big breaking news coming in now. And these are the set of social media tweets that were flagged off by the government, which the government says, which they communicated to Twitter, which are certainly inciting violence. These are hashtags, which means that the government felt that they were impacting and disrupting public order, which are a matter of concern. Series of such Twitter handles shared by the government in its dossier to Twitter. A number of them were blocked and suspended as well by the social media handle. I'm going to begin with Napinai and I'll start wrapping this debate. What really is the solution? And given the nature of the content and the tweets that were being put out, what is the way out? Can there be more solution coming up in terms of self-regulation? If that is not happening, can there be filters or certain, bringing down content by flagging off or flagging down or going up?
So there are two kinds of possibilities here. One is the legal angle, which we have kind of touched upon, but very crisply to sum up on that, Pranesh mentioned about how the users are the real victims here. So nothing stops those users from taking the recourse under law, because that is the only alternative that the provision as it stands today gives us. Since we are very concerned about freedom of speech and we want to ensure that there is no disproportionality in the implementation of 69A, then whoever is affected, let them take the recourse in law. So that's the legal remedy here. As far as the protection against these kind of incendiary messages are concerned, again, 69A or the takedown under 79 are again legal measures which have been provided under law, and these do not give intermediaries the alternative to play the mediator or the adjudicator in between the users and the government. They will necessarily have to follow orders because that's the way the law is structured. You asked about a very important aspect, Maria, about technology-enabled solutions.
Or perhaps
So
auto
we saw a
filters.
lot of fake news and hate speech issues during COVID. Twitter itself used artificial intelligence to see and how it could filter out those kind of messages, fake news about COVID, etc. So here is a situation where there are incendiary messages on their platform. It is very much open to them to use the same AI technology to root out these kind of messages also. The concern here for them on one hand is that they may stand to lose their remedies of safe harbor as intermediary if they employ these kind of tools. So they stop short of using these kind of tools where they are scared of losing their safe harbors. But on the other hand, they are still playing arbiters.
Okay.
So they need to take a stand, and governments also has to enable social media to use these kind of tools without them losing their
Okay,
safe harbor
Karnika, come in on
protection.
this. You
Maria,
know, we are
yes.
seeing also advertisers are increasingly becoming conscious of the reputation and ways of working of platforms. We can raise questions about behavior in general, user behavior on social media. But the larger question is how and can there be or should there be free rein given without any accountability whatsoever?
No, I strongly believe that there has to be some regulation. We cannot let it be, with the open news. It's just not possible. The point is that, we can use AI, we can use, protection mechanisms against use of deep fakes for fake news or, morphed pictures and videos through DNA photo hash mechanisms or otherwise. There's a lot of technology available today to use good filters to, find out such content and automatically delete them or remove them. So technology can come to aid definitely in this problem as well. It can, help alleviate the situation. Secondly, in the context of the legal fraternity, I mean, what we've seen in the courts of law is that, in drawing an analogy with the websites, there are a lot of websites which per se are for criminal activity, and you can obviously also look at the content which is floated on such accounts on social media and come to know whether this is actually a fake account or a wrong account or an illegal activity account, and block those accounts. While on the other hand, there may be some genuine accounts, like maybe publishing magazines or publishing newspaper accounts or other official accounts of other publishing houses, which will be genuine, but might have certain small posts which are maybe
I have exactly
in that
1
category.
minute and 30 seconds to both Pranesh and
those can be
Jitin.
removed. Yeah, only those posts can
Pranesh.
be removed. That's what I meant.
For me, the idea that Twitter is lawless space, that people are not being subjected to laws there, is completely wrong. We have a tremendous number of laws against various kinds of speech violations in the IPC. Now, I don't know of a single instance where the government has actually used those against people. They've instead just tried to shut down their accounts on Twitter. If the member of parliament, Sukram, has actually incited violence, why not actually book him under the IPC? Now, I haven't seen any of the evidence that the government has claimed or that, news channels are claiming that the government has. Now, I, as a citizen, have not voted for Twitter. I, as a citizen, have voted for the government. So I can hold the government responsible and accountable. Now, I'd like to know if my government, in my name, is exercising powers responsibly and in a...
Okay, Jitin, 30 seconds quickly.
And so far, I would say that no, they haven't.
So what could be the way forward for social media platforms then?
Maria, we have
Revising
seen
intermediary
scores of fake
guidelines?
accounts, bots,
For me,
accounts
for me,
run
the
by foreign intelligence
guidelines
agencies to spread
aren't
propaganda,
really
disinformation, incite violence. There are accounts, genuine accounts in India, which are falling for the propaganda, still carrying out hate speech stuff. If government in its wisdom decides that they need to withhold or block certain content in a situation where violence might happen, lives may be lost, I think they are well within their power. And I, as a citizen, do not want a situation where a private company should be allowed to question the government order and refuse to follow the law of this land. If this is where we are moving, then we don't need courts. We can probably have a Twitter court, a Twitter judge, and a Twitter executioner.
All
Let's
right.
shut down the Supreme Court. Let's shut down the Parliament. Let's vote for Twitter.
Fine
and
enough,
let's-
Jitin. Thank you so much for joining us. Pranesh, Nipinai and Karnika Seth. Of course, this is the debate which should continue on news18.com. That's all from me. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you tomorrow.